I can't imagine that this video is going to run too terribly long. There isn't really like anything to talk about. To my knowledge, the script for the Batman Part 2 isn't even done yet. They're just working on it really hard right now. And since there's no script or anything, there's really nothing physical or like tangible to talk about. It's all just conceptual. But I just want to talk about this movie because I think the Batman Part 1 was awesome, and it was probably my favorite interpretation of Batman. So today we're going to be talking about my wish list for the Batman Part 2, and specifically the things I do and do not want to see in the movie, because there's been a lot of rumors and stuff. James Gunn has already shut down a few rumors about what's going to be happening in the second one. But first of all, the big one that everyone's been talking about recently is Robin. Everyone seems to want Robin in this movie, and I don't know. I guess I'm just not really feeling it like they are, because I think it might be a little bit early, considering we have a Batman who just it's not going how it did in the comics, right? It's not doing that because in the comics, Batman was like the vengeance vigilante, whatever. In the comics, he was killing people. So we already know that it's not going to follow directly what they were doing in that original storyline. But what happened is that when he met Robin, that's when he became this sort of beacon of hope and whatever. So I feel like that role that Robin played originally has been filled a little bit. Not that he wouldn't be really cool to see or that he couldn't add something or like continue that arc that Bruce is going on in the movies. I just think that he doesn't need to fill that same role that he did. And whenever people talk about it, I see them mention that specifically. Like, Robin could be this beacon of hope for Bruce, but I don't think he needs that right now. I think that there's definitely something else that could be done with him, something really interesting. Especially with how often Bruce was looking at that one kid in the first movie, the mayor's son. It may or may not have been confirmed that Robin is not going to be in this movie, because if you saw a little while ago, James Gunn deconfirmed a bunch of rumors that were going around about Robin, and I don't even remember. It was like Robin and a couple villains, and that was a big rumor. Everyone was talking about it, and then James Gunn went out and officially said that it was all false. So I don't think that means we're definitely not going to see Robin. I don't think we will. I don't think Robin's going to be in the movie. I don't really want him to be in the movie either. I think it's just way too early for that. I think he's maybe a late stage addition in the third one, tops. But I also have faith. I have a lot of faith in this because the first Batman movie did kind of everything right. I mean, not to really glaze Matt Reeves here. The first movie, I think, hit all those marks that I've been waiting for these movies to hit. So I really trust whatever he wants to do with these characters and whatnot. But just given what we've seen so far, I really don't. I wouldn't be shocked if Robin doesn't show up in the whole trilogy. But I don't think he'll be in the second one specifically. But if he is, I trust the vision. I trust whatever outline Matt Reeves ends up, whatever he's cooking right now. I just want to see. You know what I mean? Like I'm down for whatever for real. But that's something that people have been talking about a lot. Specifically having like a Dick Grayson iteration of Robin in there, which I think is if they're doing Robin, and that's kind of a big if. I don't think Robin in any facet fits into that realistic, grounded, gritty take that they've been doing on Batman with this new story. But I do think that it would be really cool to see. I would love the dynamic between Bruce and like a younger vigilante. I think it could be another facet of comedy because if you saw the first Batman movie, it was funny. It was a funny movie. Obviously, it wasn't a comedy. It wasn't always being funny. It was a very dark movie. But the relationship between Batman and Gordon was like low key hilarious. Like it made me laugh out loud. So I'm fine with whatever. But generally, I don't think he's gonna show up. Next, we have that Penguin show that's still supposed to come out this year, and that's supposed to only be around 8 episodes. I don't know if they're dropping it all at once or if it's gonna be a weekly drop. I kind of hope it's a weekly drop. I just think that fits better for the style of show that it is. But it looks like from the set photos we've seen in that show, Cobblepot's gonna turn into more of the comic accurate Penguin that we know. So like the crime boss, which is what they were hinting towards in the end of the first movie. But I kind of thought that we would see it play out in the second Batman movie as opposed to his show, which I thought would be about building his character and whatnot. I kind of thought it would be a prequel, to be honest. But thinking about it now, that does make a lot of sense that they're going to take that opportunity to build up his character and really give him a sense of place in this world. So when the Batman 2 rolls around, it's not like the first one where Cobblepot's just some lackey. He'll be a crime boss of his own. I mean, he could be one of the villains in the movie. We don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes. I love Colin Farrell's portrayal of the character. It's not like anything we've seen before, but it's a lot more comic accurate in some ways, and it's a lot more not in others. So I'm just excited to see where it goes, honestly. Some of the outfits that we've been seeing, I'll put them up now, but some of the outfits we've been seeing him wear look so Penguin-like. They look so much like something he would have worn in the comics, which is awesome. Super excited for that. I thought it was weird that they did the iceberg lounge the way they did in the first movie. I would have liked to see that develop, I think, but that is not the direction we're taking. I think he could still, I guess, turn into like a lair. I guess. I mean, I'm sure the cops would be like all over it after the events of the first movie, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We also have Barry Keoghan's Barry. I really hope that's how you say his name. Barry Keoghan's Joker, which is I liked it. I was down. I was game. I don't love the design. I don't think anyone really did, but I liked his performance. I like how he played the character. It was interesting and new, which at this point we've seen so many Jokers. We've seen every single like side of the spectrum when it comes to Jokers. We've gotten every kind of portrayal you could really imagine. Um, so to see something new, I think is a lot more interesting than seeing something ripped straight from the pages of a comic or something like Heath Ledger's performance. But again, like I don't want to see that. I don't want to because no one's gonna outdo him. No one's gonna do that Joker better than he did. And that's not, post-mortem glazing or anything. That's just because he played the role so well. Like Joaquin Phoenix did something very, very different with it, and I think that's the reason that movie succeeded the way that it did, is because he didn't try and do Heath Ledger. He did his own take, which I thought was really interesting and cool for a Joker without a Batman, at least. There's also, is it still coming out this year? Yeah, I guess it is. The Joker 2 movie with Lady Gaga. That's crazy. Did not even think about that. The biggest one though, the thing that everyone is really debating about is who is going to be the villain of this movie. The name that I see come up a lot, which really scares me, is Hush. And I don't get it. I don't get the hype. I have never ever liked Hush as a villain. I have always thought he was really lame. I thought the plot twist, obviously spoilers. I thought the plot twist of like Elliot being Hush was the most expected plot twist of all time. Like you introduce this character very late stage, like only in this comic, and you're like, him and Bruce have been best friends since childhood. Obviously, he's gonna end up being the villain. Very obviously, he had his death fake out, whatever. Even that was not enough. I hated the Hush comic, hated the Hush movie, even more the animated movie. So I've never read anything or seen anything with Hush that made me think, yeah, this is a character all of his own. Like I couldn't see any other villain doing what he's doing here in the same way that you could with like Killer Croc or Scarecrow. Even New Age villains. I'm Onomatopoeia was a really interesting, cool new villain. Not that he should be in this movie. I don't think he'd work in any format but comic. But there's ways to do new villains that isn't like cheap, lame twist. But that's the route that Hush took. And I think that no matter what, everyone knows that twist. Everyone knows Hush is either Thomas Elliot or the Riddler. So if he's in the second movie, we all know what's gonna happen. That's gonna kind of ruin the surprise for even really not that big of like comic book fans. Like generally the knowledge about Hush is that his face is constructed to look like Bruce's sometimes, and he's Thomas Elliot. Those are the two most known things about him. I just don't think he should try it. He referenced Hush in the first movie. The first movie had a reference to Hush. I think that's all we need. I think that's enough of that. But I'm pretty scared that this next one's gonna do Hush. I personally really really want Mr. Freeze. And I know that's such like a generic NPC desire for this movie. But I just think he would slot into this Batman story so well. And the arc that Bruce is going on right now, like, I think that this whole next movie could be about maybe Bruce developing a form of empathy for his villains. Which would be such an interesting and cool way to take his character after the hopeful ending that we got for him, to tell a really bleak and depressing story about Freeze and his wife. I think I don't know. At the end of the day, I really don't know where they're gonna take it. I hope they go a little fantastical with it. I think that would be really cool. I'd really like that, but I don't think they will. I think they're gonna do another serial killer-like character. A while ago, there were rumors about Clayface being the villain. I don't know if that got debunked by James Gunn. If it did, say so now. I saw a lot of people talking about the possibility that they would do Clayface, but in his Golden Age like design and motif. So he's like a serial killer who uses clay masks or whatever. And I think that's dope. I think that's awesome. I would love like fantastical monster made of clay. But at the same time, I think that would look a little out of place in the Reeves verse. I don't think that would quite look so right. So honestly, if we get like a Golden Age serial killer, I'm fine with this trilogy being just a straightforward, on the narrow serial killer trilogy. I think that's fine. I think that works for what he was going for, and I think that's perfectly normal. Honestly, that's what I was really expecting. Back when the first movie came out and the talks of a trilogy started coming about, I really, really did just naturally assume that it was going to be all like criminals or whatever. Maybe the third one's going to be about Joker. I don't think so. I think Reeves has been subverting a lot of expectations. So, as cool as it would be, I don't think Joker's going to be the main villain of any of these movies. Because he's also not that popular right now. Not a lot of people really like this adaptation of Joker. But I think that the villain territory is probably the most interesting thing to do. Because if you've ever read Batman comics or you watch Batman media, a good villain takes up a lot of the story. A good villain sometimes kind of ends up being the main character more than Batman does, even. Which is not the direction I think this Batman's taking. I think that this is going to be another character study story. It still requires an interesting rival to Batman. You know what I mean? Like, Joker challenged him on a lot of very specific insecurities and issues he had. That scene where, he's talking to Batman and he says Bruce Wayne, and it looks like Batman's literally going to break down into tears. Like, he looks so uncomfortable. That's great. That's exactly what I want from a Batman story. I want people who challenge him, not like physically. Like, I'd love Killer Croc or like, again, Clayface, but I don't want them to just be like a big brute. They have to challenge his morals and his philosophy, and the Batman mythos itself, I think, is what makes for an interesting villain. Which I think everyone agrees with. I don't think that's a controversial opinion. And anytime someone suggests a villain for this, it's usually someone who could challenge Bruce on something he hasn't been challenged on yet in this universe. Which also could be a cool segue into Robin. I think Robin would challenge a lot of his viewpoints and worldviews, but I don't think there's any way they could get over that leap of, well, why is Batman taking out a little boy to go fight crime with him? Like, I don't think there's any way, realistically, you could overlook that and be fine with it. Otherwise, I think that's really all I have to talk about right now. Like I said, there's really nothing tangible about this movie right now. The thumbnail is using a screenshot from the first one and the logo from the first one, because I couldn't even find a PNG of the logo for the second one. Like, there's nothing about this movie right now. I just really want to talk about it because I'm really excited. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear your opinions. I had a really active comment section in my last video. My videos are doing really well right now, which is crazy. But I really had a lot of fun talking to people in the last one about what they were thinking about for Daredevil, because that was my last video. I think I don't want to be a news channel. I really like talking about video games also, so I might make a Pal World video. If you were just here for the wish list, by the way, you can leave now. But I think my next video is going to be about Deadpool 3, because as I'm recording this, it is Saturday, February 10th, and tomorrow is the Super Bowl, which I am very excited for separate reasons. But the Deadpool 3 trailer is going to be premiering during that, so I might make a video on that. It depends. I really made a video about Daredevil because I didn't see anyone else doing it, and that's also why I'm making this video, because I really don't see many people talking about it yet. Probably because there isn't shit to talk about, honestly. But still, it's just something I want to discuss, especially with the people who watch these videos, which is people now, which is crazy. But yeah, I think I'm going to do Deadpool 3 next, and then maybe a Pal World video. I'm waiting on some more Silent Hill stuff also, but yeah, I think that's it. Also, once again, gotta plug it, my game, Catman, Daredevil inspired, Batman inspired, link in description. My Twitter is also in my description, very funny, so go check either of those out if you are interested, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.